turn your pan on, add your oil after your pan's feeling nice and warm. It's about a teaspoon to a teaspoon and a half of oil. Pretend I measured. This pan is a pan you guys are using. It's a non-stick. The handle gets hot, hot. So you have to use an oven mitt or else you'll get hurt when you're handling it. So make sure that you have your oven mitt. Roll your oil around, get your pan nice and ready. While my oil's heating up, I'm gonna crack my egg in a bowl separately. You guys just need one of these bowls because as soon as you drop this in the pan to cook, the person who's cooking their omelet next will grab this bowl and crack their egg in there and prep it for their egg. You guys are gonna have salt and pepper as seasoning. Add it after cooking. Don't whisk it into this. It'll affect the consistency. The salt actually makes your eggs come out a little bit flatter. And so to get the fluffiest omelet possible, we're gonna add our salt and pepper at the end. So I checked my egg, I have no shells in there. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of milk. And you guys can use a wire whisk or a fork. I'm using a fork. Whisk it until you don't see the difference between the milk and the egg. All right, here it goes. I hope my oil's hot enough. Not quite. I didn't hear that sizzle sound. So my oil's not quite hot enough. I'm gonna turn it up a little bit. These pans are small enough that you can let it just take the shape of the pan and be a very circular omelet, or you could actually move it and shape your omelet the shape that you want it. If you wanted a fluffier omelet, I want this to be a little fluffier, so I'm going to continue moving it until it starts to firm up, and it's going to just be about half of the size of the pan. It's a little tougher to do it the way I'm doing it, so if you guys wanted to, you could just do it the other way. Either way though, you are going to take your spatula during the cooking process and you're going to make holes in the egg so that the solid parts that are cooked move up to the top and the liquid parts move down to the bottom. So now that it's a little firmer, I'm going to scoot it over so I can have a fluffier omelet. I'm going to make it take about half of my pan. Perfect. And it's still real watery, so I can move my spatula and let the liquid parts go in. As it's doing this, I'm also going to loosen up the edges so it doesn't stick too much. It's very liquidy there. If you see it's cooking in one area of your pan more than the other, you can move. Sometimes the heat doesn't distribute evenly. You can move your pan around so it gets even heat. But you just keep lifting up, making little tiny holes in it so the liquid runs down to the bottom. And then as it's cooking, I'm going underneath it, just kind of making sure that it stays loose in my pan. I'm using a rubber spatula. I feel like that's the best tool for it because it slides under there nice and easily. And you guys can see when I shake it, it's almost all the way solid. It's still a little bit juicy on top, but it's almost all the way solidly cooked. It's really close to that time when I can flip it. I can see on this side, if I were to try to flip it, it'd rip straight apart there, so that tells me it's not quite ready. I need to cook this side a little bit more. And just keep it on heat. Is anybody timing this? How many minutes has it been so far?
4 minutes.
4 minutes? From the start or from the cook?
Oh, from the start.
So I think it's been on heat for like maybe 2.5 minutes. So 2.5 minutes times 5 people in your group, that's like 15 minutes of actual cook time. What you guys might want to do, optional, because you guys have to have your kitchen cleaned up right before you guys all sit down to eat. So what you might want to do is get like a baking sheet, and as everybody's omelet finishes, put it on the baking sheet and just keep your oven on like super low, like 100 degrees, super low, to make sure that your egg stays warm. Or you could just put it on paper plates and kind of microwave it. I feel like that changes the texture a lot though, so I don't know that I'd recommend that. Just so you guys aren't eating cold eggs. This one's not gonna hold together. I can tell when I flip it. I'm gonna give it one more second before I try and flip it. What are the ways I can tell if my egg's overcooked? 2 ways. Brown and rubbery. The consistency will be rubbery instead of like creamy and soft. Getting close. If it's a little bit brown, I know we're kind of used to that. American eggs are usually overcooked. So you guys will probably not mind the texture of it very much. So you guys can use your spatula to flip it, or you could try to flip it in the pan. I can see this sticking in one place, so I'm kind of scared to try to flip it in the pan. See if I can loosen it. Oh yeah, it's gonna rip apart. What do you think? Should we try flipping it? No. Oh, it broke. Dang it. Alright, I'm going to see if I can squish it back together. I lost my beautiful shape. The guts flew out. Alright. So after you flip it, immediately after you flip it, you guys will measure out a tablespoon of cheese per omelet. So depending how many people are in your group. You can sprinkle your cheese right on top as it's cooking. And just let it keep cooking in your pan like that. It only needs a short amount of time on the other side. And then you'll fold it. All of it. And you serve it immediately. It doesn't need to stay cooking on that other side very long at all. So these are like teeny tiny mini omelets. It's a one-man omelet. We'll just slide it off. Done. Alright, mini omelet. RTG, ready to go. This is the stage where you guys will add your salt and pepper. You're good, Tina.